When I was in the 6th grade, I attended my best friend's funeral and I did not cry. That same year, a teacher threatened to call my parents and I cried like a baby. Emotions are confusing. Like pencil crayon being erased, you will see the colors start to fade, but you will always remember what was once there. I'm a facade-wearing fighter. I will only show you the traits that remind you of my strength. Maybe it's a splash of toxic masculinity, but it fits me just right. Like forest green hanging off of my limbs when the scythe comes from my family tree. I'll play the same black and white movie every single time, back of the bus, listening to music, staring out of the window. This will be the soundtrack to my protagonist's monologue, or maybe it'll be less cinematic. Maybe it'll be 2 a.m. Twitter rants hiding behind crying Jordan memes, or 4 a.m. playing Pokemon trying to fill up my Pokedex. Mindless distractions. To hide the bullseye on my brain that looks like Pluck Chick's color wheel, when my brain matter splashes against the wall, it'll look like a Picasso painting. Forensics will call art majors and hipsters to discuss the tangoing tones like, good grief, the blue is so deep. The green and red live in harmony like Christmas Day. He was an artist until the day that he died. Some days I dress up my talks like they are VIP at the Met Gala. Making my ugly sins sound beautiful, but in fact, I'm the ugliest boy to have ever lived, the worst kind of ugly. The type to laugh at your jokes, then cry after your party. I'm scared. Scared that you will find me before I find myself, and I'm not ready for that. Maybe that's why I try to find myself in the smiles of others. The happier you are, the less you worry about the scars I wear on my arm. We're in a poetry crowd, so there's this old cliche that says the eyes are the window to the soul, right? Yeah. While I have opaque blinds with only peepholes that I control, see on some nights the monsters come out to play, and on those nights, well, those will be the nights where I play the most Pokemon or I get off the most tweets. Because when you're scared of the monsters in your head, sometimes the best place to hide is in plain sight. Hey, poetry and stuff. So this is that poem I said I'm gonna read. Here we go. I'm gonna just go straight into it. A little bit of background. You haven't really taken that information in yet. My family is from a very small country called Nepal. It's wedged in between India and China. Our claims to claim are, we got Mount Everest. Buddha was born there. Please don't pronounce it Buddha. That's like super mispronounced. DH is not a sound in the English language, so you've been pronouncing Buddha wrong your whole life. Just wanted you to know that. That's also why people can't pronounce my first name correct. So my first name is spelled Bidhan, often pronounced as Bidan, which is too super wrong. It's Bidan, but DH is not a sound in English, like I said, so no one pronounces it right. All right? So that's all you need to know. Here we go. In Nepali culture, when somebody in your family passes away, you shave your hair. These curly locks are a reminder of survival. I'm so scared I'll get attached to my hair. I felt death hold my hand and walk down empty Scarborough streets. He sits across the table, sharing food, talking my slang. Death is a master of disguise. With his hood on, he looks like one of us. Some days I'm so lucky to miss his calls. On other days, all I want to do is talk to him. Talk to him about politics, sports, life. He once dressed up as my best friend. Once dressed as my grandmother. Some days he dresses as my neighborhood. He makes you feel comfortable, like he is family, until he takes family. I've watched the Grim Reaper hug so many people. I'm afraid I'll be ready when the cuddles come. Death will be the last person you fall in love with. This love is eternal. I've never had a love like this. There will be ravens at our wedding. As we take our last dance, a black feather will cradle to the ground like our first child being put to sleep. It'll be glorious. When you attend, don't bring gifts, don't bring flowers. Bring memories and bring stories. The holiest matrimony, till death do us apart, or till death do us together. I got another phone somewhere. My bad, I gotta do that phone switch. In the meanwhile, you can follow me on Instagram, because that's where I look the best. At _ Berma, that's where I am wherever I go. And I'll also leave, actually I'll do this poem, I'll leave off with a story. Cool?
Yeah.
Y'all with me?
Yeah.
Here we go. Oh, I love birds. Maybe you got that from the albatross poem? Here we go. Today you are art, no longer just a poem. Palettes flash with crimson, you will spread plasma onto the canvas. I wish to be as Basquiat as a blue jay. I've always been envious of birds. Humans watch each other dance and sing and call it art. Birds watch each other dance and sing and call it survival. No longer art for art's sake. When you breathe along the lines of a staff, whole note, half note, quarter note, and rest. When you realize that you blink to the rhythm of your favorite albums. Darwin studied birds to perfect evolution. Do vultures twirl to the heartbeat of the prey or the predator? Either way, they stalk prey like circles surround the cipher, watching your every move, waiting until you make a mistake before they make you dinner. Will you be as good of a dancer as a vulture? Or are you more of a peacock? When you step to the center, they will stare at you. They will stare out of envy and they will stare out of confusion, but they will stare because you are being you. And that is when you become a raptor. Misunderstood because the rhythm of your flight is one with death. Do you see the salvation of an eagle or do you see the sport of a falcon? I once read a sign that said art on a canvas is like putting an eagle in a bird cage. But remind yourself that cages cannot host God's closest children. When your way of travel is painted in front of the night sky, maybe that's the day humans can finally process how to fly. Cool. Thank y'all so much.